Okay, day number 1 is complete. Literally just arrived. You can see I'm still sweating. So it did not quite go to plan, but all's well. That ends well. So I set off from Montserrat about 2. The plan was to stay at Castiglioli. I got to Castiglioli at about 5:06. Spent about 5 minutes looking for the hostel that was recommended to me by the guy at Montserrat and on the piece of paper he gave me, which is next to the church. No one was there. No one was picking up the phone either. So I looked at the app and saw whether, looked for another hostel in Castiglioli. I went looking for that, which took up about maybe 20 minutes or so. Literally couldn't find it. I don't think, well, I'm sure the address existed, but it just wasn't there. So I started thinking, might be in a spot of bother. So the next stage, the next, checkpoint is a place called Igualada, which is 7 kilometers away. So I rang the hostel there. It's about 6:30 at this point. 7-kilometer journey. So I rang them. Lovely guy picked up, but he said they close at 8 on the dot. No flexibility. So it was unlikely I was going to make it. But he said there's hotels and other stuff in the area. So I started powering onto Igualada while searching for hotels and hostels, and constantly using Google Translate to work out what I was going to say when I rang the hotels. Fortunately, basically all of them could speak English, so they just replied to my English when they realised how shit I was at Spanish. Well, replied to me in English even. Every single one was full. By now I'm about maybe like a kilometre or probably about 2 kilometres into the trip to Igualada, so still about 5 kilometres left. And it was about 7, maybe like 7:05. So I thought, game on, if I power on I could get to this hostel in a decent time, and it was the only hostel that had room, even though they were closing early. So I rang them up again, managed to get the guy at the hostel to agree to stay a bit later, but it took a bit of back and forth, and then he had to ring his boss and get that approved and yada yada yada. And then so I started jogging. Basically I kind of jogged half, maybe jogged like a third to a half of the 5k, power walked the rest, and arrived at 1 minute past 8, so I wasn't even really that late. Fell over while running because my laces got caught. My laces, got tangled. Dented my bottle, don't know if you can see that, but that'll be a nice sweet memory. And made it. Across all sorts of terrain, and walked on all different types of paths, walked on busy winding roads in the mountain, walked alongside dual carriageways, walked through forests, walked through villages, basically scrambled up rocks. There wasn't a path, there were just arrows drawn kind of up the rocks. You just sort of had to use both hands and feet and plough up. Walked past the vineyard, picked some fresh olives off a tree, which weren't ripe, but you could squeeze them open and really smell the olive oil, which was lovely. The oil of the olive. So day 1 complete, done 23 kilometres in the afternoon, and that's kind of roughly what I'd be looking to do each day, so it's been quite a busy afternoon. It was sad to leave Mum and Ewan. Feel guilty about stress causing the stress will cause my mum. But I think she'll relax pretty soon once she realises it's all safe and everything. But yeah, had a lovely time with them. Felt surreal leaving them and starting this walk. Everyone I've told, which isn't many people, that I'm going to finish at Santiago de Compostela, I've been quite surprised. So it's obviously unusual to get people staying in these parts, going all the way, which is badass. So yeah, roll on tomorrow basically. But